I have been trying to fill my home with more antique furniture that truly stands the test of time compared to modern built furniture, pieces that are made of solid wood when craftsmen paid attention to every detail. But in order to get these pieces at a good price, more often than not, they will require a bit of work. I bought this set of French country-style nightstands off Facebook Marketplace a few years ago for $150 and am finally getting around to refinishing them. I originally thought that the last owner had painted them this cream and gold color, but after doing some research, I learned that they were actually manufactured this way. I believe these are from the Dixie Furniture Company, which is no longer in production. They were known for making a mid-century furniture as well as this French provincial white and gold style. So it's possible that I actually devalued these pieces by making them over, but I still love how they turned out more than the original. I have no regrets, and I started out by cleaning the pieces really well with a TSP degreaser and removed the handle pulls. Now to remove the paint, I'm going in with a heavy-duty paint stripper. And yes, I am doing this inside. It was the middle of winter when I did this, and I started it on the weekend with that massive snowstorm that impacted most of the country. So no way was I going to try and strip paint in my garage or outside. At first, I did put cling wrap over the stripper to help keep it moist, but that wasn't necessary. This stripper does a really good job, and I think it actually worked better without the cling wrap. But about 20 minutes later, it was ready to start stripping. I ended up doing this process twice all over the whole nightstand to make sure that I got all of the paint off. I wanted to do as little sanding as possible in this cold winter weather. After I scraped as much paint as I could off, there is still residue left on the nightstand, so the best way to get this off is with some sort of afterwash or cleaner. I'm using the same Clean Strip brand to ensure that it works well with this specific stripper. And you can see just how clean it gets that wood afterwards. Even with the excellent job that the stripper did, this piece still needs some sanding, especially in and around all of those contour areas, which are difficult to get into. I ended up buying a few different options to help get this job done. First was this sanding block that has a soft sponge-like side that will contour around areas like the curved legs and the surface edges. This worked okay, it wasn't terrible, and it did contour around the legs nicely, but I felt like it wasn't molding to the shape as well as I would have liked it to. But before I get to the next option, I had thought the wood was looking good at this point, and I went ahead and stained it. First with a pre-stain to moisturize the wood and prepare it to accept the stain color. The stain color that I used first is called American Walnut by Varathane. I would apply it to a few sections and then wipe it back, and as I wiped it away, I could see that the wood was two different species and the stain was looking super patchy, even with the pre-stain that I added. So it's the next day, and this probably isn't going to be a surprise. I don't love the color of this. I feel like it is just too orange toned and like old school, like not the vibe that we're going for. And I think because it's actually made out of two different types of wood. Like the very top piece here is a veneer, this section, and then the rest is solid wood. And then like this is pine, this was all hand carved. And then this is also a veneer. There's like a veneer top and bottom on top of that solid wood, which
I don't really understand why they did that. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. I can't tell if it's picking up, but trying to get into all of these grooves was really difficult. So adding a light stain over top is just like drawing attention to all of these little areas where I didn't perfectly get all of that paint off or get it down to the raw bare wood. So anyways, I've ordered some Rubio Monocoat, which I'm really disappointed in myself for not thinking about sooner because I have been wanting to try the Rubio Monocoat for quite some time now. And I wish I would have just remembered that instead of buying a couple of new stain options. But here we are. I wanted more of like a darker wood look, more like this. This is just an antique little table that I found. I don't know what color this is going in my bedroom. I don't know what color my bedroom's going to be. I don't know all of that detail yet, but I know I want a darker wood. I know this doesn't look great. In person, it's just very splotchy, at least more in like these real wood areas where I just like could not get into all of these grooves perfectly. So I think a darker stain is going to help make it look a little bit better. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to completely try and re-strip this because it didn't go great the first time, or if I'm just gonna try and put the Rubio Monocoat stain right over top of this. I think I might do a test on the back, see how it comes out, and then we'll go from there. Well, I did end up stripping this a second time, and this time I paid close attention to all of the grooves. I have a wood carving tool set, and I use that to help scrape away those darker areas. I also had a small zip sander or a finger sander to get the wood nice and smooth. I even ordered this pack of contour sanding attachments from Amazon, which comes with a ton of popular contour shapes and small sheets of sandpaper. So I was able to get into all those areas now to get them really completely smooth. And you can see here all the stain that was left behind on the side compared to the front that is down to the raw wood. Now for the Rubio Monocoat, it comes in 2 parts that need mixed together in a 3-to-1 ratio. And it's supposed to bond to the wood fibers. This is why I stripped the nightstand the second time. It wasn't going to work well over the stain. I got the color Cortado. I was torn between that and the color Chocolate. They're both a rich, deep brown like I was looking for, and you apply this just like a traditional stain, then wipe off any excess. I even took a detail paintbrush to get in all the carved areas. Unfortunately, this was showing the 2 different wood species even more than the original stain. The side was this reddish undertone, which I didn't mind at all, but the front that was pine, I just did not like how it was taking any of these options that I've tried. Third time's a charm though. I picked up a gel stain in the color Mahogany and went right over top of the Rubio Monocoat. Gel stain is thicker and it sits on top of the wood rather than penetrating into it, which will leave a more even finish. And this time, finally, I love how it turned out. So I let the stain dry and then I sealed it with a combination of wipe-on poly and traditional polyurethane. I really like the look of the wipe-on poly. It gives a more natural handmade feel rather than being too shiny. But since the tops are going to get even more use, I want that to be more durable and use the traditional polyurethane. For the drawer hardware, I originally planned on just using the original poles and clean them up with Barkeeper's Friend, and then I used Brasso to try to restore the finish, but these were not real brass, so they really didn't turn out any different. Then I stumbled into the hardware aisle at Hobby Lobby, and they have really upped their game on knobs and pulls. I was very impressed, and I found several that I really liked. This black, white, and gold one was speaking to me, and I just had to pick a few up. Now, I thought I could fill in the holes of the original poles and then blend them in with some furniture markers and wax that I had. They didn't look perfect, but then I remembered I have these decorative backer plates from an old project, so that was just a waste of time. I cleaned up the backers and then spray painted them black, which worked perfectly to cover up the old holes. And this was a last minute add after I had already done that second nightstand. So in the reveal shots, you are going to see both the original poles and these new ones.
Let me know what color you think would complement these nightstands in my bedroom. Next, I found this dresser at Goodwill last summer for $20, and I love the curved top and detailed legs of it. I didn't think it needed a whole lot of work when I had picked it up, but boy was I wrong as usual. I basically wanted this to just be all stained wood and not have the black top, so I added citrus strip all over the black paint to strip it off. Now, citrus strip does work better in my opinion when you do add that cling wrap over top, so I let this sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. The black paint was coming right off, but it looked like there was another layer of white paint underneath. No big deal, I'm used to stripping furniture more than one time to get all that paint off. So I added another coat of citrus strip, covered it up, and let it do its thing. Well, this time when I went to scrape it, it looked like the top was just disintegrating right in front of me. Like, what is that? I have never come across this before, and I have stripped my fair share of furniture. The corner started to just lift up in these wood chunks, so I think that the way they created all the layers of this detailed top was by adding thin sheets of plywood, each cut with a slightly different front to look like it was carved. So I decided to just take that top off altogether. There was no saving it. I figured I could just buy new wood to replace it with. This thing was built so strange. Under the top, there were 3 real wood pieces that had that carved front detail where the plywood was layered on top of. I knew these pieces were actually wood, so I pried them off to use under that new wood top later on. So I picked up a sheet of birch plywood and I traced the shape of the old dresser top so I could keep that beautiful curved detail, and I cut it out with my jigsaw. Then to try and get rid of that sharp square edge of the plywood, I took my Dremel with a roundover bit to give it a softer look. Next, I need to stain the wood, and since this is an antique piece, I pulled out several stains to try and find a combination that would match as closely as possible. And I used a scrap piece of the plywood to see how it would show up on this specific wood species. Of course, I conditioned the wood first with pre-stain, and then I went in with a combination of red mahogany and Sedona red. Then I let those 2 stains dry and then added another layer of just the red mahogany. Unfortunately, I have no clue what happened to the rest of the footage from this project. I got very frustrated trying to get that top back on with those little carved side pieces that I had pried off previously, but all I did was add those original pieces holding up the top back on and then added the new plywood top. Then I sealed everything in with a triple thick polyurethane since this piece is going in my living room with heavy traffic. I also went over the rest of the piece with my mahogany stain just to brighten it and liven it back up. I love how this piece looks. I do need to find a new location for it eventually. I want to put a longer buffet here on the side of my couch that spans the full length of the couch, but until I find that next antique piece, this is perfect. I know these aren't the most exciting types of videos, but if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.